Welcome back to the GMS Weekly Podcast. This is your quick dive into the latest ship recycling market moves for week 43 of 2025.
Global markets seem to hit the brakes this week, not just shipping, but recycling too. Currencies shuffled sideways, steel plate prices barely twitched, and the Baltic Dry Index slipped about 3.2%, its weakest since early October. Capes fell hardest while Supras and Panamaxes held mostly steady.
Oil nudged higher, now around $62 a barrel, up roughly 1%, helped by renewed China-US trade deal hopes, even as sanctions widen and Europe blacklists more Russian tonnage. Inflation in the United States ticked back up to 3%, keeping traders wary.
On the recycling front, prices below $400 per light displacement ton are now being openly discussed across the subcontinent. It has been a dismal October. Freight is steady, but the recycling market painfully thin on tonnage and thinner still on optimism.
In India, Diwali came and went with little sparkle in along. No fresh sales were reported as more than 100 HKC-compliant yards sit idle, watching prices crumble from last year's $600 peaks to below $400 once again. The rupee closed a touch firmer at about 87.5 to the US dollar, while local steel plate values held near $389 per ton, barely moving the needle.
And though India remains the safest, fully HKC-ready destination for end-of-life ships, the rise of shadow fleet units trading cheaply has split the market in two, dragging legitimate pricing further down.
In Bangladesh, Chattogram is trying to balance on stilts during an earthquake. A few hungry buyers surfaced for larger vessels, Cape-size bulkers and membrane-type LNG carriers, but smaller units are getting little love. The Taka slipped to about 122.35, and local plate eased another $3 per ton.
With elections penciled in for February 2026, the industry waits for clarity. Around 20 yards are now fully HKC ready, a bright spot amid the uncertainty. Notable sales this week included the Puteri Neelam and Puteri Delima, both 1995-built LNGs sold en bloc on private terms, and the Monica P, a 7,700-ton bulker, likely heading to Bangladesh at about $380 per light ton.
Over in Pakistan, after a short-lived comeback, Gadani has stumbled again. An influx of cheap Iranian scrap has crushed local confidence and cooled offers. Even so, Pakistan still sits just above the $400 line.
Inflation nearly doubled last month. The rupee weakened to roughly 283.5 to the dollar, and steel plate held around $614 per ton. Buyers remain keen on larger dry units, but smaller ships are being passed over as certification hurdles and time delays bite.
And in Turkey, another quiet week. The lira slid to about 42.08 per dollar, and steel prices moved only marginally. Local sentiment stays weak, with offers in the $250 to $270 band.
So, as October fades, the picture remains bleak. Freight is firm, oil is edging up, but recyclers across the subcontinent face woefully slow weeks ahead. Let's see if November brings any spark back to the markets.
That's it for this week's GMS Weekly Podcast, Woefully Slow. For full analysis, charts, and pricing, download the complete GMS Weekly on the GMS mobile app. And don't forget to listen and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and see you next week.